to our Minister of Human Settlement, Methembisi Melani. Greetings to Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Noneba Mhlauli. Greetings to the SG, not the SG of the ANC, the Statistician General, Ntate Risenga Malulek. Greetings to the NYDA Executive Deputy Chairperson, Karabo Mohale. I was saying when they were quoting her, I remember you said that I was with you. We addressed the June 16 commemoration together in the Northwest. I also want to greet the entire executive committee of the NYDA here present with us. Greetings to the SAEC executive led by the chairperson, Bonga Makanya, and also President Kanakana Mutsanani. Let me greet all our youth who are present here. Greet the panel that we just heard just now. I'm sure all of you will agree that they were really amazing. The stories that they were telling us just now. I was saying to Tsepo now, maybe you know, youth. So thank you very much. I think it's really impressive to see how young people are standing up, being innovative and doing things for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. Dumelang, Dimachero, Abshen, Lochani, Sanbonani, Huyemore. Program Director, it is an honor to be here this morning after I just returned from a very successful working visit to the Russian Federation, where my delegation and I were warmly received, welcomed, and we engaged in intense programs aimed at deepening bilateral relations between South Africa and Russia, and to ensure that we can also strengthen trade between our two countries. Now, many of you may know that Russia has a very long-standing relationship with South Africa, stretching back from the period when we were fighting against apartheid at the time during the Soviet Union. And therefore, we are continuing this long historic relationship. Our visit allowed us to consolidate those historic ties, but whilst also committing to strengthening political, bilateral, economic, and trade relations today. Amongst other engagements, we visited the St. Petersburg University. This university was established in 1735. So you can see that it's been there for close to 300 years. I was very happy to see South African students studying in many universities in Russia, not just the St. Petersburg University. I had an opportunity to spend time with them once I concluded giving a lecture at the university. There are about 540 South African students studying in Russia. But the good thing, as many of you may know, many leaders of our country today were trained and studied in Russia as well. One of the pleasing aspects about the institution like the St. Petersburg University is that it has also committed to introducing African languages. When I was there, they briefed me that they have now introduced isiZulu. And as I was at the university, they said to me, they will now be starting to teach isiXhosa. And we are saying, even with us, we are opening opportunities for our universities to teach their languages as well. But what is more important is that this university has presence in many of our universities in South Africa. They work with many of our universities. So, Program Director, we are happy that we are improving people-to-people relations with other countries, not only Russia, but many other countries in the world. In what they call the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, SPIF. And when I came to SPIF, I found that there was what they call the SPIF Youth Academy. And they asked me to go and speak at that forum one of the mornings. It was quite dramatic because I was telling my team that as we got there, that they had not told me the topic that they are interested in. So I thought I was going to encourage them, young people, you must participate in economic development, and so on. So I had a speech, where I was going to start and talking to these young people. And then I arrived there and I sit, and the young lady who's the moderator says, "Oh, Deputy President, tell us about artificial intelligence." So I'm thinking, hey, they don't even give me a chance to, put my speech. I said artificial intelligence, and I'm thinking about all the bright people who have been talking about, this thing, like our principal of the UJ, my brother. I'm thinking quickly, man, what? So anyway, to cut a long story short, I said those are very interesting things. And then they said to me, now we have young people line up to ask you questions. And all of them, they come. So what artificial intelligence projects do you have in South Africa? So I answer. And then so it goes. But it was quite good talking to young people. And I was complaining later to my team that, I normally like preparing when I go to gatherings. But it was good time spending time at SPIF. We had an opportunity to talk to business people. We have what we call South Africa-Russia Business Council. So I had an opportunity to address their dialogue as well. And of course, we were having good meetings with the leadership of Russia. My first meeting in Moscow was with the Prime Minister, where we talked about bilateral engagement when he had 8 ministers, and on Thursday with President Putin as well, where he had 10 ministers from his side. I had 5 deputy ministers and 2 ministers. So we had good meetings to consolidate our relations. Program Director, we are in a knowledge economy, and I'm very happy to hear young people talk a lot about that. When I had the opportunity to speak at the University of Johannesburg with Professor Chilizi Marwala, he was focusing a lot on artificial intelligence. I think those of you who know Prof. Marwala, you know that is forte. And it's important that we take into account these issues that him and others have raised, including machine learning, computational intelligence, and doing work also in the early childhood department curriculum for our young people. So we must start to introduce them early to the knowledge economy. We as government are going to continue to invest in scientific training so that we remain competitive. We are looking at areas like nuclear medicine, and we want to congratulate some of our best in these areas. Professor Sateche at the University of Pretoria, Professor Vilakazi at Wits University, and other professors like Professor Mamuketi Pakeng's a professor of mathematics. We want young people to follow on their footsteps. Don't pull back. You have good mentors that are showing the way. By doing so, this is the way we can be globally competitive as we learn to focus on issues of the digital economy. Program Director, today we are also, as we gather here, we are concerned that the world is on the brink of war. However, I'm happy that, by last night, there was a lot of talk about ceasefire between Iran and Israel. So we are hopeful. We are also hopeful that that will be the case with Israel and Palestine, particularly in Gaza. We have, as countries in the South, our voices must be heard to condemn these callous acts of attacks on innocent people, young children, women. We must make sure that our voice is heard to say challenges and conflicts can be resolved through peaceful means and not war. And that's what we have been doing as South Africa. Even in Iran, the president sent a message to say, let's resolve our problems peacefully. I am the envoy of the president in the African continent, looking at how we resolve conflicts in places like South Sudan and other places like the DRC and so on. So we stand for peace as South Africa, and that's the message we are taking everywhere in the world where we are engaging with everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, those who closely work with me will tell you that I have always found immense joy and satisfaction in interacting with young people. So when I got an invitation to come here, it's something that I was looking forward to. When I was the president of the Alexander Youth Congress, which Tembi was saying, at the time I was 22 years old, and our slogan, which has become a reality on our T-shirts and publication, was "The future belongs to us." That was our vision. Now, you're talking more than 40 years ago. We thought that as young people, the future belongs to us. So I want to repeat it to you as well. As young people, as you sit here, you must say the future belongs to us, but you start it now. You have to start it now. Because, you know, one thing with the future is that I value Zenje. So if it belongs to you, it depends on what you do today, what you do now. So I'm very happy to be interacting with you because you are the future leaders of tomorrow. It's you who will be standing here and talking proudly about this country, how you are leading it, how you're making sure our people get a better life, how we become successful amongst nations of the world. So we encourage youth activism, and I'm happy that the Deputy Minister in the presidency, working with the NYDA, are pushing hard to ensure that the young people must not be left behind. So when you convened this G20 moment, it became very clear that we are saying as young people, nathi sikhona. Don't just hear good, hey, barkhona le G20. No, you must be there. Ningene phakathi. Yeah, so I'm happy that you are not left behind. You are going to be part of this. It's very good that we're doing this in the month of June, very important month in South Africa, Youth Month. We take this opportunity to remember the young people, particularly the generation of 1976. We remember Hastings Ndlovu, Hector Peterson, Tsietsi Mashinini, amongst others. We also remember young people like Stanza Bupapi, Solomon Mahlangu, who was hanged by the apartheid regime, and many other young leaders who gave their lives for this freedom. Ashley Krill, Steve Biko, and many others. So let's be proud of this tradition, that we follow on the tradition of young people who were brave, young people who were determined, and who made sure that indeed we get our freedom. Today, there are a lot of interesting things happening in South Africa, and the young people are going to be part of this moment. I'm happy that you have this topic, building youth capabilities for a developmental state, advancing solidarity, equality, and sustainability. This is, for us, it's an imperative. Investing in the capabilities of young people is essential for achieving meaningful solidarity, ensuring equality and sustainable development. South Africa at the moment stands at the defining moment in its democratic journey. And the G20 platform provides South Africa with a strategic opportunity to frame global policy discussions. So we are given that opportunity as a country. And the capabilities of young people as agents of inclusive economic transformation is vital in this regard. We want you to be involved. This presents an opportunity also for the African people, which is something we did. We decided at the South African cabinet that this G20 presidency that we have, this opportunity that we have, is not going to be just for South Africa, but for the African continent. And that's the approach we are taking. When we say solidarity, equality, sustainability is for the entire African continent. We are moving with everybody. We are looking at development not only here, but in the continent. We are going to infuse in our program of the G20 the program of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We're bringing it in. The work of the AU, we bring that in. The work of BRICS, we bring that in. So it's going to be good to say that the young people are in the midst of this. The Global South countries are asserting themselves. Many of you may not know that, in fact, if you take the countries of the Global South, in terms of the global economy, it's now close to, if not surpassing, the West. That's how big this is growing. And therefore, we must assert ourselves. We must ensure that at multilateral levels, we reform those institutions, especially the Security Council. I'm sure Minister Simelane will agree with me that we want to have a seat there. And as we go to these institutions, we're not going as beggars. We're not looking for handouts. We want to participate, we want to take decisions, because the whole issue of development, of progress in the world, it's something that we also want to define on the table of these multilateral institutions, and we must reform them. We must transform them. We must not just go and sit there. We must make sure that the agenda of the Global South is asserted. So, compatriots, I want also to say that we need, as young people, to be alive to the African Union's Agenda 2063, building the Africa we want. It's not something. So let's put this on the table, and as young people, let's run with it, because Africa is the world's youngest continent. And if we do not leverage this democratic dividend into inclusive growth, we risk wasting our own future potential. I was saying when we were having a panel discussion with President Putin that, the importance of the African continent, that by 2050, and I'm sure the statistician general, the SG, will talk about these numbers later today. If I'm correct, SG, by 2050, the continent could be having about 2.5 billion people. Somewhere there, am I right? Yeah, something like that. In fact, it's almost close to being double what we have now. So Africa is becoming a big market. So we as South Africa must take advantage of that. The young people who are here, coming with this initiative, please remember something. South Africa, those genes, bayazifuna eMozambique. ba di batla ko Botswana, Angola. So when you look at economic opportunities, don't end in Soweto or in Johannesburg or Mamelodi. Look at the continent to say, here's the opportunity to grow in the continent. And people are looking. In Mozambique, celebrating 50 years of independence. And you can see that, people are so happy to be working with us. So as you become innovative, as you become entrepreneurs, know that your space is big. Take advantage of that. We want young people that can build this Africa we want. It's not going to be old people. It's going to be you. We came up with a vision of building an Africa we want. You must build it and not be left behind. Program Director, some of the projects that we'll be busy with in Gauteng, in Limpopo, in KZN, includes investing in rail. So there is an integrated high-speed train network that we're working on. The Grand Inga Dam project, because water is vital for development. We're looking at single African air transport market and Africa Continental Free Trade Area that I spoke about. So these projects are not ending just in South Africa. We want to get into the continent. Some of the state-owned companies of South Africa are already in the continent. So we are making sure that we build this Africa we want together. We must intentionally. We wanted to participate in intra-African trade as young people. And I'm sure, Noneba, we will make sure that as government we make funding available for these young people. We must do that. I'm not sure if many of you are probably aware that recently Minister Pakstau launched what he calls a transformation fund of 100 billion. It's 20 billion a year for 5 years. It's for you. That money is for you. But uzoyithola kanjani uhlele khona? Melu vele phela uthi hayi no mina nayi innovation yami. This is what I can do as an entrepreneur. You will get the money. Because we as government must deliberately support you. You are struggling with the commercial banks. But once government support you, even the commercial banks, they come on board. So take the opportunity to use these funds that government is making available for you as entrepreneurs. So that young people must not sit and say, hey, akuna span. You must create the jobs. With your innovation, your creativity, supported by government, you will create the jobs. You will employ other young people. So let's not sit and say, hey, it's a hunaspani man, come with ideas, we will support you. And those are the things I want to see young people doing, working with you. I believe in your slogan when you always say, nothing for us without us. Siyavuma. Yeah, siyavuma. And I can say Karabo is so happy. He likes this slogan, nothing for us without us. We agree. We want the young people to be there so that we don't make decisions for you. We make decisions together with you so that you are able to tell us what are the things that young people, the youth, are looking for. So we're going to work with you in that regard. There are a number of things that government is already doing. I won't deal too much with them. I think Karabo spoke about some of them. The Presidential Youth Employment Initiative that is already benefiting over 1.7 million temporary and full-time jobs since 2020. We will institutionalize intergenerational core leadership in governance, moving beyond consultation to shared power and shared design. We will work with regional and global partners to implement targeted reforms that enable young people to start businesses, access capital, and engage in cross-border trade. We must make it possible for you to trade in those countries. As the youth of South Africa, you should prepare for this summit in November. You must do so consciously, and you must push yourself to be part of this, because the leaders of these countries are going to be here. And so there's an opportunity to hear them, interact with them, and some of the activities will be all over the country. So this roundtable has made one thing clear. Youth are not merely beneficiaries of policy. They are builders of nations. We must now ensure that the decisions we take at multilateral fora reflect this truth. We look forward to receiving your submissions on how we can champion a new development compact where the youth agenda is not marginal, but mainstream into public policy, budgeting, and delivery. Let the G20 remember that Africa is young. South Africa is ready, and we want young people to take the lead in the developmental and transformation agenda of this country and the continent. The future is yours, and you are the future. Stand up, persevere, and confront every challenge with persistence. Because angeke kube easy. So that's why I'm saying you must persevere. Good things don't come easy, but you must be persistent. Persevere. We are here to provide you with the support you need as you navigate this process.
May you all rise for His Excellency.
Before I leave, Karabo and Deputy Minister Sondelan, we need to give a gift quickly. Okwe ona, Tsunel. Oteshitsonga shakash basanga. Yeah, but you did so well. So itena wena ukumanyana computer nyana, laptop. Yeah.